Hello Libra, this is your 2016 to 2017 annual forecast. And the great news this year for you Libras is that in September, Jupiter, planet of good fortune, abundance and wealth and all good things, comes into your sign where it's going to stay for 1 year and 1 month. So more of that later, but I'm going to be describing lots of different aspects this year, and at the end of the video there will be a list of these main aspects with their dates, so don't worry, it'll all be there at the end. It's an exciting year ahead, and I tell you why. It's because there's a lot of cardinal energy in the heavens and a lot of mutable energy and very little fixed. So in terms of the main planets, Uranus is still in Aries here, will be until around March of 2019 for you. So lots of shake-ups in relationships, surprises still going on, you trying to get more freedom from being such a people pleaser and at the same time still having the closeness in a relationship that so many of you want. I think that that's probably going to continue, but do remember that Uranus wants you to take a little bit more of a risk in your relationships, Libras. Sometimes you do play it a little safe because you like everybody to be happy, and of course I understand that as well, because being a Libra with you, I know what that's like. We've got Pluto again in a cardinal sign, so these are all cardinal signs. Of course you're a cardinal sign as well. Pluto here in your 4th house, so it's been a lot happening in terms of your home, what feels like home, your family, big transformational changes happening there deep inside you, deep in your psychological self, a lot changing. So the cardinal energies in the heavens are all about you taking action, being proactive, going for the things that you want. And without very much fixed, you're not going to get too stuck with any luck. Yes, you're not going to stay stuck in one place for too long. But the mutable energies, and because all the eclipses are either in cardinal or in mutable energies this year, again, it's about allowing yourself to see, this really isn't working. I'm encountering lots of obstacles here, so maybe I need to just adapt and be a little more flexible so that I can move along with the energy, still get to where I want to go, but maybe just take a different route. I mean, really, there's not one way to fly between London and Paris. Yeah, planes kind of, they go a little zigzag this way, or it depends on the wind. And so it really means going a little bit with the wind this year. And if you can do that, going with that energy, you can accomplish a very great deal. So that's the good news. Now let me take you through the eclipses. On March the 9th, we've got a solar eclipse happening here in your new moon, solar eclipse happening in your 6th house. It's joining Neptune. Neptune is there for several years more now. So what Neptune has been doing in this 6th house for you Libra, many of you, you've been confused about your work. You know, which direction to go, where to go, do I stay where I am? Some of you have had disappointments, betrayals even in the workplace. And this new moon solar eclipse will give you an opportunity for something new, something fresh to start for you in your work area. It's also giving you an opportunity to do something new for your health, your well-being, maybe to look at your diet, maybe to look at the foods that agree with you and things that maybe don't agree with you quite so much, or maybe to explore some new things that you haven't tasted before. It's a new moon solar eclipse in that 6th house. On March the 23rd, we've got a lunar eclipse happening in your sign, Libra. And do remember that with the eclipses, very often you'll feel the energies quite a few weeks before and at least 6 months afterwards, if not sometimes for a few years afterwards, depending on what's going on in your personal chart. So on the 23rd, we've got this lunar eclipse happening here in your 1st house, Libra. So this is an opportunity to look at you, look at maybe the personal growth you've been going through, maybe some experiences in a marriage, a relationship, your work, your finances, and it's going to show you the things that you've really done well, the things where you're doing well, and also it may show you where you'd like to improve. maybe what you'd like to learn next, so that you can be more self-confident and move more freely in yourself and not feel self-conscious in any way. And the big news this year is that Mars goes retrograde from the 18th of April until the end of June. This only happens every couple of years, and it stays retrograde usually for about 80 days. So April the 18th, it starts off retrograde here in your 3rd house, and then on May the 28th until the end of June, it's going to be in your 2nd house. So let's break this down a little bit for you. First of all, to say that Saturn is in this 3rd house for you for 2 more years, until the end of 2017. And Saturn in the 3rd is a wonderful time, Libras, for doing some serious study, for learning something and maybe getting a qualification, a certification, something that where a career can come from it, or something really substantial. And it's also a wonderful time for networking and perfecting your social networking skills, and maybe also learning some more technical skills. So we've got Mars retrograde here, first in this 3rd house. Now, whenever Mars is retrograde, there are certain things that are best not to do. So it's not really good to start a fight of any kind. And this 3rd house often has to do with debating, arguing. You know, well, you think this, I think that. So I would say don't start the fight. If you get sucked into it, well, that's another matter. But for example, don't start divorce proceedings. Not the best time during Mars retrograde. It's also, certainly with Mars in the 3rd there, not a good time to buy anything mechanical. Because there's a tendency when Mars goes retrograde, because it rules mechanical things. You know, Mars, it's men, and they love their, you men, you love your cars and things you can fix and tractors and all that. That's very Mars energy. And so when it's retrograde, it doesn't like being retrograde very much, so things often burn out or break down or conk out. So I'd recommend not buying anything mechanical, and that would include things like appliances, maybe washing machines, fridges, anything like that that can go wrong that's got mechanical parts in it. The other thing I would prefer not to do is not to have elective surgery, because Mars rules surgeons and their instruments. So if you have to have surgery, that's one thing, but if you can choose when to have it, I would not have it during the Mars retrograde period. It's not the best time for starting things, but it is a good time for refining things. So when it goes through your 2nd house, Libras, you may well refine things to do with your finances, redevise how you've been working with things, and maybe come up with a different kind of a plan. But I would not take forward action until after the end of June. And between May and October, we've got a square aspect happening between Saturn and Neptune. So Saturn here in your 3rd and Neptune in the 6th. So some of you may have been really trying for full-time work. You really want permanent full-time work, and you want it to be stable and secure. And chances are, for many of you, you may not find that kind of stability. You may get a 6-month contract, something temporary. You may get some consulting work. So don't fight that. There's a tendency sometimes with a square, because squares are uncomfortable energies. It's like a dissonance in music. It's like, oh, couldn't that chord just resolve into something harmonious? And so a square will push you to maybe say, you know what, okay, I'll just go with the flow, with what's offered to me, with the work, and see where it takes me. And in the meantime, I'll study hard and I'll learn something for a new career that I'd really love to do. So it might be the letting go of a career, of a job, of some work. It's about that what I said in the beginning, this mutable energy of allowing things to go rather than pushing and efforting them and then finding you're coming up against hurdle after hurdle. If you feel that, I often say to myself, even when I'm phoning somebody, I give it 3 tries. If after the 3rd try it's not going through, or it's still busy or it's something, I let it go for that day or that week even, and just say, all right, it's obviously not meant to be right now. So that's how I would use this energy between May and October. Now, between June and July, we've got a fabulous aspect, a lovely trine happening between Jupiter here, planet of good fortune, and Pluto. Now, these are really powerful hitting planets. When they come together in harmony, wow, they can be real strong. So, for example, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, they've got these 2 conjunct in their charts. And I have seen people with this aspect make a ton of money, or have some really good fortune. For you, it could be something to do with property, real estate, home, family. Could also be something to do with your spiritual growth, or maybe you're doing something to do with astrology, numerology, psychic, anything metaphysical. That too could be very fortunate for you. And on September the 1st, we've got a new moon, a solar eclipse happening in Virgo, here in your 12th house, and also until September 9th we've got Jupiter here in this 12th house. Now, Jupiter in the 12th is wonderful for getting help from an unseen force. You never expected it, but it's like there's a divine help happening for you, and you may not see it visually, but if you could tune into it and actually feel it, you would feel that there is tremendous support all around you. And this new moon solar eclipse in your 12th is a wonderful opportunity for doing something quietly on your own, maybe silent meditation, maybe a retreat, maybe studying some astrology and learning something in this whole esoteric field. That would be wonderful to do with that new moon solar eclipse in your 12th. And of course, the great news on September the 10th, Jupiter, only happens once every 12 years, my lovely Librans, comes into your sign, into your 1st house, till October 10th of 2017. So this will be the time to expand, to grow. There will be more abundance in your life. And it's a time really to take a few more risks. But it will be a time when you grow personally immensely. And you may find yourself traveling and exploring and meeting all kinds of new, exciting people. And on September the 16th, we've got a lunar eclipse happening in your 6th house of work. So we had the solar eclipse in September. So maybe something begins in September and completes, begins in March and completes in September. That's a possibility. So here, this really will be shining a light on your work area, saying, Libras, are you happy with your work? What needs to change? And that will be really, or maybe something coming to fruition that you've been working on, also could happen in that 6th house of work. And finally, last but not least, a lovely aspect, a lovely trine happening between Saturn and Uranus. All of December they're in trine aspect, and for you Libras, this could be some great news about a relationship, something happening in that area, maybe something you've been hoping for a long time. Could be a business relationship as well as an intimate relationship, but something maybe you've been working towards, really starting to take shape, really becoming more of what you've been looking for. So there you have it, my lovely Libras. I wish you a wonderful year ahead. You may want to come for a personal reading where I look at this year for you and the cycles coming up and how you can use those cycles to your advantage. Of course, I'd be delighted to hear from you, and I really want to take this opportunity to thank so many of you who email me, who comment, share, subscribe. I really appreciate you so very much. I feel very connected with you all, and really from my heart to yours, I am sending you very much Libran love. Have a great year. Bye for now.